Welcome everybody. Happy holidays are here again. I just wanted to show you something quick, a little snafu that we had. So what you're looking at are the two ends of my dad's, and it happens to be my brother's, LED lighting strips. And in my dad's garage they got their 8-foot sections, and there's 2 by 2 by 2. So what is that? It's 3 parallel, so it's 2S by 3P. Something like that. I didn't think of it that way, but anyways, is what's happened is they've had them butted together. Now I'm not sure if they have like splices like this, like the ends here, and they're just cut so they're just back to back, you know, right here, and then the other one's right here. But the problem is, and they're both having it, and they've heard either online or from the manufacturers, what happens is with we just got snow last week, so snow is on the ground. With heating, expansion, contraction, all that jazz, they push and pull together. Well, when they're butted up together, there's not much as far as pin work that goes into this. You know, I mean, you're talking right to here at most, you know. So is what's happened is he's got 2 sets that actually came right apart. So I told him I'd whip up these ends for him. Now I got, which one? Yeah, this one's good. And I got, trust me, you guys did not want to see me fumbling around with my stupid dead dumb fingers trying to wrap these, because once you get the first one done, it wants to pull on the next ones. The sleeving doesn't want to stay down. It's just becomes a nightmare. As you can see with the black one, let me slide behind it here, and I'll bring you in so you can really see it. It started shrinking it. You just need so much heat that is what happens is it shrinks your shrink tube. See it even happen with the yellow one right here? Come on. Right there. See it? So I actually, the first on this one, so what I did is I backed it off a little bit, and just cut it, just snipping little bits and bits, just shorten it up. But I actually found a way that I think works a little better, and I'm just sliding my really sharp tweezers down inside and just kind of loosening it up. And then even sometimes you can just pull it right up and over. These are pretty tight. But there's something I failed to tell you that I want to do first. Now I just got done soldering these, so that they are cold, they cool down. But instead I did use flux. It's just some drip-on flux. However, I don't know exactly all that makes up the flux, and I don't even know if you had if I trust exactly what they say is in it anyway. So got some 99.9% IPA here. I like to squirt them down at least and just give them a quick scrubbing. And I mean within 10 seconds, 5 seconds, maybe even 10 seconds we'll say, it's all evaporated and gone. You don't even know that it's wet. That way I don't have to worry. I can heat shrink it and not worry about that lingering underneath and posing trouble down the road. He hopes these lights will be there for years, and I do too, so maybe that'll be something that'll deter him from, I would say, corroding underneath. She's got a little burr here. I'll bring him up closer too so you can see. It's really a fight between how much heat to use and not use. What you can get away with, you know. If you really just cook them down, yeah, it's great. You really got them good and soldered together. However, now your heat shrink won't fit over them because your heat shrink's gone. And there you go. Now I believe I started with the black or the green one here. As you can see, bring it up. And you can tell that this white one was probably one of the last ones. And the thing is I set these up where when they're down laying flat, see, here's the crease, so the crease is down. Well, they line up. The top is black, but then the opposites. So your green is actually attaching to your white over here, and vice versa. Well, you got to crisscross them, so it kind of makes it a little more of a mess. And then I got one other thing that I came up with, and that I'm hesitating to use, but I think I'll be all right because it's long enough. This is some pretty stiff, solid heat shrink here. Now I'm wondering, once I heat all these three down and get them all done and looking good, then pull this over and heat shrink this down. Is it going to be too stiff? You know, I don't think it will. We already talked about how we're going to see how the ends actually line up real nice. If you lay it flat, because you don't want them really twisting around and that, if you can help it. I would have liked that a little bit longer, but that's all I had of the white. The other stuff I had, I was even hesitant on using black or the blue for the heat shrink. I thought it would kind of shine through, but this is really, it's so opaque of a white that it really, it's gone. You definitely don't see it. But I'm just pushing these down and over. I'll get the hot air kicked on, ready to get rolling. The black is good. You can see the black one on here. This one really, I mean, like a 1/4 inch of it. If you see right here, was all, oh no, that ain't, I gotta start over. And I mean, it is, the hardest is, I've tried doing where you take the splayed wires and splayed wires, kind of put them together and then tweak them together. You end up with barbs like that all over, trying to slide the heat sleeving over it. It's terrible. So I stopped doing that, and then I even tried just using both splayed wires and wrapping them kind of together, and you still end up with parts sticking out like this. Is what I did this time is I actually had the one side already soldered, and about a 1/4 inch already soldered, then put the sleeving over it, and then went through, had this side nice and splayed out, did it with my fingernail, had it nice and straightened out, and just started wrapping it. And once you get the first one, lay it down, you know, do your solder to it, and then I moved on to the next. The next two are obviously the hardest, especially when they got a flip-flop and you're not left with as much room. See, this red one's going tough. Now if it hits any type of a burr, it's gonna hang right up, and you'll pull and pull and pull on it, and all you're doing is like stretching it over the burr. I've been there before, but I think that worked about the best. I was actually really happy kind of with this, how this turned out, as far as getting it feeling good and not having all these nasty points sticking out, you know. Definitely feel a lot better. So I did, like I said, I soldered all three on, we'll say on this side, had them stripped back, twisted up good and soldered, and then went and took the wire. There we go. Get some heat on it. You see it? Yeah, see, it shrinks right up. Shrinks right up good. Just enough to protect it. Now, I do not have any idea what they are calling this type of plug end, but I do know that it's the same that is in my HRTC charger here. In fact, it's in my Sky RC. Hold on, I got it right here. I'll show you real quick. I'll show you actually something really funny about it. So, look at that. That's got to be the same, right? Nah, you wish. Ain't gonna happen. And the sad thing is the bottom two fit. The top one, if you look, if you can, hopefully the cam will get in there good and show you. Look at the top one here. It's bigger. It's a little bit bigger than the other two. and on this one they're all the same size. So, you know, that's not going to stop me. And that's actually the green, believe it or not, that's actually the green. Even on here, I'll show you. Let me put this in here a second. If you can pick it up right here, see it's marked as ground, if it'll focus on it. See it there in the white at the edge of my fingernail? Yep. And so hell, so what I did is, this was a plug, this is actually on a switch over here, and if you look, this one right here, I just drilled it out, and I actually, believe it or not, I drilled it and never got any metal to come out, which is weird because you look down in there and you're like, oh, you're gonna hit the metal, but it must be the injection molding that they used actually is what stops it. And it's actually, it's like, why would they do that? They're screwing us again. I think they actually, and I'm hoping why they did this, and it does make sense. Well, a charger like this, it could take what, 4 or more amps, but these, I mean, talking lighting a couple of LED lamps up, you're talking really light. You're not using near as much wattage through these, ooh, as you are through this, you know. So this is a lot lighter wire, and I think that's what they're doing. So any bigger sockets, you know, they don't want to have some wimpy wire plugged into here running this. But I mean, as long as you're not running this, I think it can do up to 8 amps or 10 amps. Yeah, I'd have to look. Circuit power is 50 watts. I can't remember. I don't know with the other chargers and that now. I can't remember what's what, but I'm pretty sure it's 6 amps actually. 12 volt, maybe even more than 12 volt at 6 amps. That's 60 watts. So yeah, maybe that makes sense. But anyways, I think that's why they did it. If you do get in a bind though, you do have other options too. You got these things right here, which are kind of like Wago, but they're not. In fact, these things, when I first got them, I actually got a whole package of these. See how these kind of flip up? They're kind of nice. Well, when I first got them, I was working on them and I was snapping off these. They were so strong to flip up, and you don't want to have your finger here and push them down. They'll zap you. They hurt. Talking about every 1 out of 10 maybe I would snap one off. They just weren't strong enough to flip back. So I flipped them all back and let them sit for like a week with all that tension on them, and now they're actually workable. As you can see here, they're not bad. You know, you don't want to have one side plugged in and locked down and then ripping the thing over trying to, you know. So you do have this option. These are not very cheap, but they are definitely, they're good. They are very good. I really like these. The only drawback with these is you've got to get the wire stuffed way down inside these. This is actually, it has to be deeper than the point here. So that is where you're starting to grab onto it. So anything shorter, this long or shorter, it won't even touch. It has to be longer than that. And that's about it, honestly. As far as how big, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I mean, if you can look down in there, not sure what you'll be able to see. Let me get the light. It's a square hole that's down in there. Let me see here. Try not to blast you with that. I don't know how that... But yeah, it's a square hole down in there. But I really like these. And just for something real cheap, real quick on the fly, these are just some little white ones. You squeeze it down, push it in. These are really like chintzy though. They're marked 250 volt. There's a CE. It doesn't even look like the right CE writing. It's freaking CE is like CE you tomorrow. And that's about what it's worth, to be honest with you. But them are the good. That's what I would recommend but I didn't want this honking thing hanging up there. And we still would have to have we're gonna put them up. Like I said, they're hung up by straps, and we're gonna loosen the straps. He's gonna hook these in, and when he does, he's gonna have a kink in it like this, something about like that. So they basically it's actually pushing into them, you know, the way these will be set up. He'll have it kind of pushed like this, actually. See how I'm pushing, if you can tell. You know, here's where it wants to rest. Once you hook it up, you just put a little, so it's pushing into each one. That's the way Dad figured on hooking it up. And then here's another one. These are all common together. Another Wago type. So yeah, them work cool though. Them I would highly recommend them. Let's get some heat on this one and get this thing wrapped up. If that white, I don't think it's going to be oh look, just that one shrunk a little bit, and it's just tight enough that it's not the wire, it's actually the coating is not letting it by. I've actually trimmed back the coating sometimes just because it was just in the way enough. There we go. Good, and yeah, that one definitely shrunk a little bit. Oh yeah, there ain't much. You just want to be a little careful doing this. For one, you'll stab yourself more than you'll ever stab the shrink tube that you're trying to get.